This is weird. Jackie's saying she's unable to join as a panelist.
I'll be right back.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We're going to get started in about 10 minutes. In the meantime, if you need Spanish or Mandarin interpretation, please follow the instructions on the screen to dial the number and then enter the meeting ID in order to hear the live interpretation.
Yeah, my first visit to Newport was back in the 60s, in 1960.
going to be getting started in about 5 minutes at 6 o'clock. In the meantime, if you need Spanish or Mandarin interpretation, please follow the instructions on the screen. You can dial the number from your phone and then enter the meeting ID to hear the live interpretation. Thank you.
大家好，欢迎来参加今天的会议。然后，请你拨打这个热线，如果需要中文服务的话，这个号码是646-558-8656，密码是497-692-7129。我再说一下啊，这个中文热线是646-558-8656，密码是497-692-7129。谢谢。大家好，我是中文翻译。今天关于这个市政厅的会议呢，我们是在6点钟准时开始。如果你要加入本次会议呢，你可以使用电脑，还有就是智能手机或者平板电脑。然后这个会议的这个密码呢是会议的这个号码是831-034-62458，就像屏幕上显示的这样。然后您需要这个中文服务的话，请拨打中文热线646-558-8656。这个会议的热线密码是497-692-7129。Thank you.
Hello, everyone. So again, if you're just joining us, we're going to be getting started in a few minutes at 6 o'clock. In the meantime, if you would like to hear the live interpretation in Spanish or Mandarin, please dial the number you see on the screen. If you're listening in by phone, that number is 646-558-8656. And to hear the audio in Spanish, enter the meeting ID 522-498-0218. And to hear the audio in Mandarin, dial the meeting ID 497-692-7129.
Good evening. The following announcement will be presented in Spanish. Buenas tardes. En unos minutos daremos inicio con la presentación. Si desean escuchar esta presentación de manera simultánea en español, favor de marcar desde su teléfono celular el 646-558-8656, seguido de la clave de identificación 522-498-0218. Repito, si desean escuchar esta presentación a través de su teléfono celular de manera simultánea en español, favor de marcar desde su teléfono celular el 646-558-8656, seguido de la clave de identificación 522-498-0218, signo numeral. Estos números se encuentran en pantalla. Gracias. Thank you.
Sure. Let me do the announcement in Mandarin one more time. 感谢你的加入，我们马上开始。这个市政厅的会议呢，是今天11月2日星期四晚上6点。如果你参加这个会议的话，你可以用电脑、智能手机或者是平板电脑进行操作。会议的这个号码是831-034-62458，就像你这个电脑上面看到的这样。如果是你需要中文翻译的话，请拨打646-558-8656。然后呢，这个拨完以后呢，他会问你一个会议的这个密码，这个密码就是那个你看那面上有最下面那一行字儿是497-692-7129。Thank you.
Okay, I think we can go ahead and get started. Thank you all so much for attending tonight's town hall. My name is Elliot Hederley. I'm a project manager for Settlement Housing Fund, the developer at the Harlem River Project. Before we get started, I just wanted to share again that if you would like to hear this meeting audio in Spanish, you can dial the number on the screen and then enter the meeting ID. Or if you'd like to hear the audio in Mandarin, dial the same number and the appropriate meeting ID. I'll take a moment just to introduce our interpreters. So we have two Mandarin interpreters this evening, Bruce and Shulin. If you both want to just take a moment to say hello.
Hello, hi, good evening，晚上好，我是你的这个中文翻译员，然后我还有一个 partner 是 Breeze，他待会儿会接手我，谢谢。
Sorry. Trying not to.
And Bruce?
Breeze is text to me said I'm gonna step away for a little bit. I think maybe just water break or
Okay, no problem.
yeah.
And then
Mhm.
for this evening, we also have two Spanish live interpreters, Leiby and Juan Carlos. If you also want to just introduce yourselves quickly.
Yes, thank you. Buenas noches, bienvenidos a la reunión. Mi nombre es Levi, estaré también en la línea de español para ayudarles. Marquen la línea y estaremos ahí traduciendo. Gracias. Thank you.
Buenas noches, mi nombre es Juan Carlos. Bienvenidos a la Junta. Les recuerdo que si desean escuchar esta presentación de manera simultánea desde su teléfono celular, marquen el 646-558-8656, seguido de la clave de identificación 522-498-0218, signo numeral. Les confirmamos que esta línea de español ya está abierta y a su disposición. Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started with the meeting. I just wanted to mention that if you missed the instructions to dial in to hear the live interpretation, it will be at the bottom of all of the slides in this presentation. So if you're joining late, that the information to dial in to hear the live interpretation in Spanish or Mandarin is at the bottom of the slide. It also is printed on the slide deck that you should have all received. So Grace, if you could click to the next slide. So today's town hall will go until 7:30. The presentation portion will be about 45 minutes to an hour, and then the remaining 30 to 45 minutes will be for a Q&A. So during the meeting, all audience members will be muted during the presentation portion. And then at the end of the meeting, when we get to the Q&A session, you can ask a question by either typing your question into the Q&A box, or you can raise your hand by tapping the screen or moving your cursor to reveal the Zoom toolbar. and then you will select participants and then raise hand. And we'll go over this information again before before we begin the Q&A. You can also ask questions by typing them into the chat during the presentation. We'll do our best to answer questions as they come in, but the majority of questions we'll try to answer towards the end of the meeting during the Q&A session. And then just a reminder that we will publish a video recording of this town hall on our website, harlemriver.org. In case you know someone who wanted to attend tonight and was not able to, they'll be able to watch the recording. And all of you should have received a printed copy of the slideshow. So if you're listening over the phone to the audio, please follow along with the printed slideshow so that you're able to see where we're at in the presentation. Next slide, please. This is the agenda for tonight's meeting. We'll start with just a welcome and some general updates. Then we'll move into construction progress and updates. Then on to property management, information and updates, security, social services, local hiring, and then again, we'll end the meeting with at least about 30 minutes or so for questions and discussion. Next slide, please. So welcome. Again, if you missed it, my name is Elliot Hederly. I am a project manager at Settlement Housing Fund. We're excited to be here tonight, and we really appreciate you being here to hear more information about the changes that are happening at the development, and to be here to ask questions and share any concerns you have. So thank you so much for being here. We have heard requests from residents for more communication. We know that this is a very complicated project with a lot of moving pieces, and so communication is really key. As a result, we are going to increase the frequency of these town halls. We have been trying to do them about quarterly, but we're going to aim for more frequent town halls about once a month. And additionally, we're going to be having in-person town halls. So we know that Zoom is more accessible for some people, but less accessible for others. And we really want to make sure that this information is getting out to everybody. So we will alternate in-person town halls with Zoom town halls, and again, have them on a more frequent basis going forward. So you can expect our next town hall to be in December, about a month from now. And we expect to be having that town hall in person. And you'll receive more information about the location and the time and date shortly. We also are delivering regular newsletters with construction updates to your door. We have been doing this and will continue to do this to provide you with up-to-date information about what's going on, as well as we, the development team, meet monthly with the Tenant Association Executive Board and trust that they will also share out that information with you all. Of course, that the town halls and newsletters might not be enough. So if you do have questions, encourage you to always email info@harlemriver.org. You can also, of course, reach out to property management with your questions. But our goal really is to be transparent and to make sure that you're getting the information you need to know what's going on where you live. The last thing I'll just say is that, again, this is a very complicated project with a lot of moving parts. I know that I'm sure at times it can feel very confusing about what's going on. And we just appreciate your patience. We know that it causes a lot of disruption to your daily lives. And we just want to say thank you for your patience and cooperation. And we're happy to have a really excellent team working on this project. Again, it might not always seem like it might seem confusing why things are happening a certain way, but trust that everything that's going on at the development is happening with a lot of thought and intention. Things do change at the last minute sometimes due to factors beyond our control, but ultimately our goal is to carry out this project with utmost integrity and to be partners with you in this project. So again, thank you for your patience and cooperation. We really appreciate it. Next slide, please. I do just want to say one thing before I turn it over to John Capone from L&M Builders, who's going to present construction updates, is that I do see somebody with their hand raised already, And I just want to note that we will get to your questions at the end of the presentation. As I mentioned, the presentation is going to take about 45 minutes. We'll have another 45 minutes at the end for Q&A. So please hold your questions till the end if you want to speak. However, if you're able to type your question, you can do that anytime during the presentation, and we will try to answer it. So if you move your cursor to reveal the Zoom toolbar, you can click the Q&A box and then type your question into that chat. It will, if you want your question to remain private, please note that in your message, and we have the ability to answer questions publicly or privately. So if it's a personal question that you don't want to be shared with the group, feel free to put that in the chat. All right, then I will turn it over to John Capone.
Good evening, Harlem River. My name is John Capone. I'm with L&M Builders, and I'm excited to be here tonight to share some of the progress that we've made on the job. Can I have the next slide, please? Obviously, this renovation involves, like Elliot said, a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot going on outside, inside, in the cellars, everywhere. There's a lot of work going on, and we are happy to be a part of it, and we're excited about the future. To date, we have renovated 382 apartments, 346 apartments in the low rise, and 36 units in the tower. The apartments are scheduled. The renovation should be completed by about the end of next year. So this time next year, we hope to be starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. The renovations may not be complete at the time that your renovation is scheduled, which will mean that we may have to come back and do some touch-up work, some additional work, a subsequent issue that may have arisen or whatnot, but we are here for the duration of the project and aren't going anywhere until everybody is completely satisfied and all work is 100% complete. So an example of renovated kitchens and bathrooms is on the next slide. That's basically with some slight differences depending on the layout of your unit, what you should be expecting. New kitchens, new stainless steel appliances, new bathroom, toilet, shower, tile, flooring, windows, heating and cooling system, soup to nuts. It's a total renovation. One big aspect of the renovation is the lead abatement, which is why it necessitates relocating people. As you know, each renovation up to now, we relocate you, the residents, to a temporary unit. We do the full lead abatement, and then we start the renovation until we complete it. You can come back at the end, you check your apartment, you know, if there's any issues or whatnot, we take care of it right away for you, and Sav, the relocation specialist, moves you back. Your move is scheduled through Sav, and they'll contact you about 60 days prior to scheduling to your time on the schedule. Next slide. As you can see, there's a big difference between the before and afters. The building some of the buildings are very old. There's a lot of work to be done. We're replacing just about everything: sanitary risers, some hot and cold water piping, drains. We're trying not to miss a beat because we don't want to have to come back and we don't want to inconvenience people. We want to build you a home that is a quality piece of construction and that you can live in on basically without issue for the coming years. Next slide.
John,
As I mentioned,
I can turn this one over to Jackie, who will present from our relocation team, Sav. Jackie, if you're able to unmute and talk about temporary relocation.
Thank you, Elliot. And thank you, John, as well. So again, my name is Jackie Robinson with Sav Relo. what Savrilo is the relocation coordinator of the relocation project. The apartment's renovation work will include the removals of the lead base paint to keep you and your family safe from the lead dust and debris. Each household must temporarily relocate during the duration of the construction work for approximately 6 weeks. We will hire a professional mover who will come into your unit to move all your belongings to your temporary units. And then once your apartment is completely renovated, we will then notify you within 7 to 14 days to let you know that you can move back into your newly renovated apartment. Our temporary relocation team, which is Sheila Mayvet and Anita Alba, will notify the household. We'll provide a 60-day notice prior to your move. We will also schedule a one-on-one initial interview to meet with the coordinators so we can further explain the relocation process. And you will receive that notice no later than 30 days before your move. At that time of the initial interview, you can ask questions in regards to the relocation and construction process. Also, you can request moving boxes. We do provide moving boxes at any time. Residents like to prepare prior to the renovations and prior to their relocation. So if you contact the relocation office, we will be able to provide packing material so you can start your move. Also, during your packing of your process, the packing process, if there is any bulk furniture that you would like to get rid of at that time of the move, the movers would definitely be willing to assist you with throwing those items out for you. So just inform Sheila or Anita, the two coordinators that's on site, and they would advise the moving company and we can assist with throwing bulk items out. You can also call the relocation team if you have any questions, again, regarding the renovations and construction or in regards to your scheduling. Sheila and Anita will be there to assist. Next slide. And this is the upcoming relocation schedule. Again, I don't know if John would like to speak about it or Elliot, but every resident will be provided with a schedule so you can know exactly when the next building or your unit is ready for the renovations. So I think upcoming in November, here we're starting at 2850 Frederick Boulevard to 11 David, that building. The 13th floor will be moving November 2023. I don't think there was any changes to that, John, correct? I think that's pretty accurate. Yeah. Okay. So these residents right now should have already received their 30-day notices. They should have already had met with the relocation coordinators one-on-one to discuss their relocation needs and in the process. 210 West 153rd, the 12th floor. These residents should be receiving or have already received their 30-day notices to meet with the relocation coordinators to discuss the relocation process. If you have not already met with the relocation coordinators for your upcoming move, I advise you to start reaching out to Sheila or Anita to schedule your appointment. And then after the New Year's, the next few buildings will start. And we should be preparing to provide residents with notices for the next coming buildings. But again, definitely if you're one of the buildings that is upcoming for your renovations, please reach out to the relocation office to schedule your initial interview so we can assist with preparing you for the renovations. Next slide.
Thank you so much, Jackie. We'll turn it over now back to John to talk about the new heating and cooling systems.
Thanks, Elliot. Thanks, Jack. Yeah, before I go any further, I just wanted to say too that like as it pertains to the apartment renovations, there's a standard blueprint, so to speak, for the lack of a better term. However, the Savvy Location team, Elliott Ownership, and L&M Builders approach every resident with an open hand. If you are hard of hearing and need a visual and hearing impaired adaptation in your unit, we could do that. We noticed we started receiving some issues from where the vanity in the bathroom was too large and the space for the toilet was too tight in some situations. We went out and we got approved a new vanity, a smaller vanity with a sink. So to the extent that we could, for the lack of a better way of saying it, help in any way, please, the more communication, the more open you are with us, the better we'll all be served. I just wanted to make sure that everybody is aware of that. And that goes for all phases of the construction. If you have an idea about we are limited because they're landmarked and whatnot, but the board spoke to us a great deal about playgrounds and this, that, and the other thing, which I'll get into more, but we want your feedback and we want your input. So please keep communicating with us and do that via the management office. Sometimes if you find somebody, the members of the board have my ear all the time. But when we're walking around, people discuss things with me. But if it's an issue, the best thing to do is please contact the management office, get a work ticket, and this way we make sure we see it through. Thanks. So one of the biggest changes that we'll be taking on here at Harlem River is electrifying heating and cooling. This is a very modern, very new heating and cooling system. So far, it's been installed in 8 stair halls, in section 1. It's been installed in other areas of the low-rise buildings, but it is not active as of yet. And at the tower, it's a similar premise. It's an electrification of heating and cooling, just a slightly different type of system. I'd like to talk about the low-rise first. It's called a VRF system. It's different, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be a little bit of an adjustment. It's very efficient. It's very effective, but it is a change, and it's something that we want your feedback so that we can make work for everybody. Next slide. One thing we need is your cooperation, first and foremost. It's a little bit difficult commissioning these systems. So when it comes time to put the system online, it's not just one unit, it's not another unit, it's everybody in the stair hall. And I know it's a big ask and it's a bit inconvenient and whatnot, but it's one time. We need to come there. If we get cooperation from everybody, we provide access, we get access, we're in and out. We try to get it done as quickly and as quietly as possible with as little disturbance to you or impact to your lives. But in the end, at the end of the day, we need access to the units, and we need access to the units at all the same time. So if there's 12 apartments in a stair hall, and unfortunately we only get into 11 of them because one tenant couldn't be there for whatever reason, unfortunately the other 11 tenants are out of luck because we cannot activate the system. It's not anything we do on purpose and whatnot. Sonny, member of the management team, is available to schedule appointments. We can do this in a lot of different ways. We can come at night. We can work on a Saturday. We can accommodate your schedule. We just need some cooperation. Next slide. These are examples of the heating and cooling system. So the first picture with the arrow is the new heating and cooling system at the low rise. The second picture is the new heating and cooling system at the high rise. Next slide. Why are we doing this? Well, first and foremost, it's mandated by government. There was I don't want to get into it too technically, but Local Law 97 sets limitations on your carbon footprint. So everybody wants a greener earth. Everybody wants to save the environment. So New York City in particular, is phasing out the use of fossil fuels. So more and more you'll see things being electrified, be it cooking, be it heating and cooling, be it your vehicle. But as the future comes, more and more things will be dependent upon electricity. And this is the step that we are doing here at Harlem River. The new system is consistent and it's very, very efficient. For those currently experience it for the first time in building one, the new system, please reach out to us because it will keep temperature, it will provide heat, it may need a little balancing, it may need a little fine tuning, it may need a little TLC. We are here to do that. We are here to work with you, but we can't do it unless we know about it. So we rolled it out in building one this year. At this time next year, it'll be installed and active throughout the entire site. So we need your feedback. We can learn going forward so that at this time next year, everybody's comfortable, basically. Next
John,
slide.
do you mind if I just interject? And I just want to emphasize one thing here to make sure it's clear for everybody, especially those maybe listening in on the phone who might not be following along with what's on the slide. Important thing to note here is that the new system is going to feel different, and that's not a bad thing. Under the previous system, sometimes in the winter, apartments would get so hot that people would need to open their windows or run their air conditioning. The temperatures were 80, 90 degrees. The old steam heat system was incredibly inefficient and uncomfortable in a lot of ways. Now, with the new electric heating system, your apartment will not exceed 75 degrees. So that might feel cold to you in comparison to how your apartment was in previous winters, where the temperatures might get to be 80 or 90. But there's absolutely no need for an apartment to be 90 degrees in the middle of the winter. These systems are designed to not exceed 75 degrees. Again, that might feel different to what you are used to, but it does not mean that your heat is not working. If it feels like you don't have heat or that your new heating system is not working, definitely call management and they will come out and see if there's any repairs that are needed. But I just want to note that just because it's not as hot as you are used to, it does not mean that you don't have heat, and it doesn't mean that your new heating system isn't working. It's just a really important thing to note because I think we're already starting to hear feedback from residents that they think their systems are not working, and it's not the case. It's just that it might not be as hot as what you're used to, but ultimately this is a good thing because there's no need to run air conditioning in the middle of the winter. I'll turn it back over to you, John, and just wanted to make sure that point hit home.
Thanks, Elliot. The next slide. There's several advantages to the new heat, like Elliot. One of the big one is it's heat and air conditioning. So there will be no more reason to have a window air conditioner. If you want fresh air, with the new windows, you can open your windows. The heating is central in essence. It's basically you have a thermostat, you have all the control. If you like it a little warmer, you can make it a little warmer. If you like it a little cooler, you can make it a little cooler. Next slide. Before these are the instruction cards that have been or will be distributed. The one on the left is for Harlem River houses. The one on the right is for 2850. But again, if there's any questions, call the management office and we'll address them right away. Next slide, Elliot. Before I go on to some of the other renovations and whatnot, the upgrades that are being made. In addition to the new heating and cooling system, we're also installing new domestic hot water plants. which is very exciting because they provide redundancy. They provide a more localized source of domestic hot water. So if a boiler goes down, the whole site doesn't lose hot water. We're very excited about it. We're waiting for a date from Con Edison to do some work in the basements, and we'll be bringing those domestic hot water plants online over time, and we'll schedule appropriately, and you'll see a big difference. You won't have to run the tap for a couple of minutes for hot water to come or to start getting hot water. The hot water will be consistently at 120 degrees. So this is a big improvement, and we're happy to be bringing it online. Some of the other changes you may notice, one in particular is we just recently started new building entry doors, excuse me. We should be done installing these doors by the end of the year. The existing lock will be installed in the new door. So there shouldn't be any change as far as gaining access to your stairwell. Yes, the same lock, the same key that you used in your old door will operate your new door. That being said, part of the new door installation is the installation of an intercom system. The intercom system will start to come online in the near future and in early 2024, early next year. It is currently installed at the tower as a temp system because the tower is slated for a big lobby renovation. So it's not in its permanent location. All its features aren't active, but the intercom is installed and is working fully functional at the tower. The interior stair halls, the interior hallways in the building, in the apartment, in the tower, excuse me, are all being renovated. Stairs, concrete floors are being either stripped, cleaned, patched. Walls are being painted. The tile on the walls and the stair halls is being cleaned. There's a lot going on, and it's happening in phases. So please, again, be patient. Your cooperation is greatly appreciated, and that's all that's all we as a team are asking for. We will get there. We are actively putting new windows in building 1, so we're very excited about the changes that are coming. One of the big updates is that the new security systems and the new site lighting system is almost complete. So the cameras are active in buildings 1 to 5. They're going up in building 6, and they'll be active in building 7 over the course of the next 2 weeks. We have roof cameras that are active. We have bulkhead cameras that are active. We have exterior cameras that are active. And in conjunction with the new site lighting, the new poles, the new building wash lights, the floodlights, the bulkhead lights, there is an increased sense of security on the site that we hope will make the residents feel more comfortable when they're out at night, walking the grounds and walking the site. Next slide. Actively, we are working in the new TA community space. That is a snapshot of it right there. The community room, as you know, used to be in the rear at the tower. It will now be in the former social services room, which is on 151st Street. It's a beautiful community. It'll be a big, wide open community room with a big, large kitchen. So the TA will have a nice space, and the community will have a place where they can go and do various activities, meetings, social services engagements. It's really exciting to see some of the work coming along. The social services office, as you know, has relocated temporarily to a trailer. Once the TA space is just about ready, we'll relocate the TA into the new community room, and we'll start working on the former TA space, which will be the new social services room. We're actively renovating 3 new laundry rooms, which we will be installing and which will start to come online in probably spring 2024. and pretty soon residents will have access to the basement where you'll be able to access a recycling rooms for your recyclables. So there, like I said, there is a lot of work going on. We're very excited about it. We greatly appreciate your cooperation, and we look forward to you taking full advantage of all the amenity spaces and everything we're trying to provide here at Harlem River. Next slide. For anybody who's walked around the site, I think the changes speak for themselves. On the left, there is a photo of the playground in the rear of Building 7. On the right, there is the playground in the center courtyard, which starting Monday will get the safety surfacing, which has been installed at the playground in the rear of Building 7. So it's nearly complete. We're very excited. The North Playground has a lot more rides and hardscape. The South Playground will have board games and things like that, and more of an open area where kids can run, maybe play football and things like that, toss a ball. So we're excited. There's also an additional play area which will be installed in the springtime over by the tower, which will have a water feature. So we're very excited to be providing a space for the kids and for adults to socialize and really take advantage of everything the property has to offer. Next slide. The entrances, the landscaping, the benches, the lighting, as I mentioned, they're all in full swing, and I think the results speak for themselves. Anybody, you can walk around. A lot of the new pole lighting, which there's a picture there, has been installed. So the place is well lit. It's really something to see. Irrigation systems, eventually Wi-Fi access, with key fob access at the doors, key fob access to common area spaces. We're very excited with all the additions that we're making on the property, and we hope you are too. Next slide. The center courtyard, the historic preservation of the center fountain and the great stairs, are the ceremonial stairs, I should say, is nearly complete. The ceremonial stairs are just about finished. The fountain has progressed a little bit more from that photo there, but it will be back up and running this spring, fully in effect with water, and we're very excited about it. Starting tomorrow, as a matter of fact, the fencing contractor will be mobilizing to install new handrails, new fencing around the playgrounds, fencing around the playground behind Building 7, new fences. So again, we hope that you are as excited as we are. Next slide. And again, as part of the renovation, as you can see, a big one aspect of it is the installation of the new facade at the tower. At the low rise, as you know, the buildings are landmarked, so you're limited to what you could do as far as on the exterior of the building. But at the tower, we've installed a new facade, which is an EFIS system, which is twofold aesthetically. It's very pleasing to the eye. It provides another layer of skin. It also adds an insulation to the building. So we're wrapping the building in more R value, for the lack of a better term. The windows are nearly 100% complete. A couple of oddball at the tower, a couple of oddball residents, we weren't able to gain access, but we will. And the basement windows, we're expecting a delivery on site soon. The elevators, as you know, have been completely modernized and are functioning quite well. The basement will ultimately, you'll have access to the basement through the elevators once the laundry room is built out. And incidentally, the laundry rooms will be located in Building 2, Building 5, and at the tower basement. Again, ladies and gentlemen, all I ask for is your cooperation and please communication. If you come across an issue, if you feel that the heating system or the cooling system is not working 100%, please reach out to the management company, file a work order, and my team and I will run it down for you. That's what we're here for. That's what we want to see. We want to see cooperation. We want to see happy residents at the end of the day. And I'm here every day. You can always just tap me on the shoulder and talk to me. You know where I am. Thank you. I appreciate your attention tonight.
Thank you so much, John. Really appreciate that presentation. We're gonna move on now from the construction updates to Grace, if you could go to the next slide. Updates from CNC, our property management team. Next slide. And with that, I'll turn it over to Jerome and Tyrone.
Hello, how are you, Harlem River? One of the things we heard at the last community meeting is that you wanted more updates and more communication. So that's what we are really working on from a management perspective. These meetings, this town hall is a way of kicking it off. We want, like Elliot said earlier, we want to increase that. I've been here just about 2 months now, and I want to welcome Tyrone Thomas, who's on. He is your new general manager that will be on site every day for you guys to get to know. And actually, you can get to know either one of us. You can come to the office at any time. Tyrone's on site every single day, but you can come to the office, and Brian in the front will make an appointment, for us to meet with you. More so me, because Tyrone is here every day. You go to the next slide. So what we wanted to do, what management is what we aim to do is increase opportunities for you guys to be able to reach out to us, to report things, to get in touch with us and let us know. We're trying to organize that whole, we are organizing that whole entire process. So we've introduced some new things that are here I want to talk about. One is the AppTech app. We have an app where you can do everything. It's an online portal. It's the easiest and fastest way to probably reach us other than coming to the management office. But you can go online, you can put in work orders, you can pay your rent on there, upload photos and let us know. And the beauty of it is you get a sort of a receipt or work order number at the moment you put in that maintenance call, that work order. So now you have your proof that you are reaching out and that you did file a work order. In addition to that, and that the link that you see, ccmanagers.appx.com, is an easy link. You go right on it and you're able to register and get your own account in there. If you need assistance with that, again, you can come to the office and somebody will help you do that. We've given you an easy way to call us. This is the office phone number, 646-461-3007. Anytime during business hours. We've even extended the office hours because we want to be more accessible to you. So every day, the office is open from 9 to 5, and on Wednesday, we're staying late. For those of you that work and can't get to the office during the day, you can stay late. But if you called and you were coming even later than that and you needed to meet with someone, we would make arrangements and be accessible for that. So when you call that number, you're able to reach just about everything that we have on site here. You press number 1, that's the maintenance. Number 2 is for leasing, rent payments, billings. 3 is for temporary moves. 4 is for social services. 5 for security. And anything else, you can press 0 and you'll be able to reach where you need to reach directly. We've even given you an email. You can contact us at harlemriver@ccmanagers.com. And again, you can visit the office in person. So we're trying to make ourselves more accessible to you, to give you opportunities to reach us, if you need to file any sort of maintenance things. This would be the fastest way. I know a lot of you go to construction or go to different places. We're trying to encourage you to please contact us because we can better track the repairs and make sure they're being done. Next slide. So for all maintenance requests, including extermination, contact property management during business hours by phone, email, in person, or use the AppTech. That number that I gave you earlier, after 5, it kicks into an emergency number overnight. So if you were to call, and you can put in requests overnight as well, and we get them directly in our phones, and someone should respond to you. We say to use that for emergency only, but somebody will respond or come to your unit and see what it's about. We're prioritizing work orders. We're prioritizing things here. So leaks and no heat, we're trying to make that priorities. Okay. So when you issue the work order number, you place your maintenance request, you can, reference the work order number that you put in if you did it on Aptex, and we'll be able to look it right up. Next slide. Tyrone, do you want to take from here? I want the people to hear from you.
Yes,
Okay.
just some of the reminders to help the development continue to beautify the property. We ask that you with your pets make sure that you curb your pets correctly. We don't want to receive any violations or have to send violations for dogs not being curbed properly. Also, the trash distribution, make sure that your trash is distributed properly. Put the recycling where the recycling should go, and the other garbage, put it where it should go on a daily basis to try to bring down or eliminate the rodents or anything like that coming around. And also refrain from disturbing your neighbors with loud music. Of course, we have to be concerned about ourselves as well as our neighbors, that we're not making excessive noise that makes it unbearable for them to be able to live in a comfortable environment. And if you're having any issues with rodents or pests or anything like that, please utilize the telephone number, utilize Aptech, and get in contact with us so that we can address the issue as soon as possible. We're working to be able to get our response time like less than 24 hours, to have someone in your home, and most importantly, give us the times and the time for access so that we can get there in a timely manner and at the right time where you're there and we can properly treat the situation.
And let me just, if I can too, with the pets, and I'm a pet lover, I have a couple of dogs myself, but we please ask because even when people come to my home, some people are afraid of dogs or they have a parent. We're asking you to please, when you walk your dogs, to keep your dogs on a leash until you return to the apartment. We've had a few incidents and we don't want to keep having those. So, I love pets as well. If you want to take them to a park and let them run, that's probably the best thing. But when you're on the campus of Harlem River, we ask that you please keep the dogs on a leash at all times, including when you're going up the stairs to your apartments. It's very important. Thanks.
Next slide.
Thank you so much, Jerome and Tyrone. Now we'll come over to Nasa and Adam from our security team to just briefly talk about security at Harlem River.
Good evening. My name is Nasa Gonzalez. I'm the Director of Security over at Harlem River. We pretty much still on the same schedule as far as our tour commanders that are patrolling the site, and we have someone there, 1 or 2, sometimes 3 at a time. Tour commanders who are going into the buildings, interacting with the residents, making sure we know what's going on the premises at all times. We also are trying to keep the motorcycles and scooters and illegal bikes off of the property. We've actually had a lot of cooperation with many of the residents with taking all of the bicycles and scooters off of the building fences, as well as not bringing those illegal bikes into the apartments. We're very concerned about those. Those can the batteries can start fires, so we just recommend that you not take those scooters, electrical scooters, and charge the battery in your apartments. You can call After 5, we can call the main number and press 5. The service will come on. It will provide you with the information you need. You can give them your complaints or your concerns. They in turn will contact me, and I will dispatch tour commanders as we have the problems, and there is someone there till 1 a.m. After hours, we have guarded securities that are guarding the vacant buildings, as well as 2 guards in the tower. We find that with all the lighting that builders have provided, we've lit up the courtyard and it looks really good. If you do see any areas that need more lighting, please contact us. We've been doing a pretty good job keeping up with that. And that's about it.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Nasa. Adam, did you want to add anything?
Yes, I just wanted to remind everybody who used the parking lot behind Building 250, just remember when you leave, just to secure the chain back onto the pole there, so no one illegally can't come inside and park. And I believe John mentioned earlier the cameras. We're very, very excited about the camera system that is going in. As you all know, the cameras are going to be on every floors and the staircases within the buildings. So that's going to cut out a lot of our problems. We have the PSAs on board. They're going to have access to those cameras as well. So things are going to get a lot better.
Great, thank you so much. And just a reminder there on the slide, if you want to reach our security team, you can call the regular number for property management and just press option 5. Okay, moving on, next slide. We'll hear from our social services team. I'll turn it over to Sarah and Darius.
Good evening, everybody. For those who may not know, my name is Darius Lewison. I am one of the newest social services coordinators working at Harlem River. I just want to remind everybody that our social services team has moved due to the renovations of the former social services office space. We will now be working out of the temporary trailer that is adjacent to the property management office. And once the renovations are complete, we'll be working out of the tower located on 2850 Frederick Douglass.
Please always remember as well that we are here to connect you with all the resources the city has for you, from applying to SNAP benefits, cash assistance, and one-shot deals, to Medicaid enrollment and employment referrals. For any assistance, feel free to contact Darius Lewison or Sarah Cruz by calling 646-461-3007, option number 4. Next slide. If we can move to the next slide as well, you can see that we offer social activities for our residents with music, bingo, and ton of the fun activities for us to know each other, grow as a community. Once again, for any assistance, free to reach out to us.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Sarah and Darius. I just want to give both of them a big shout out. They've been doing really amazing work, and I highly encourage residents to take advantage of the services that they offer. You know, all of the things that Sarah mentioned, as well as just fun events for the community. I know they were giving out candy on Halloween. I'm sure they have some other fun events planned coming up soon, which you'll see from flyers around the property. But just want to give a big thank you to our social services team for all the great work that they do. And we'll move on with some hiring updates from Judy, and then that's going to take us to our Q&A session.
Thank you, Elliot. Good evening, everyone. My name is Judy Jarina, Compliance Manager with L&M Development Partners. Here to talk about local hiring. And so L&M, we try to give back to the community for every one of our projects. We connect with community organizations, we connect with nonprofits, as well as Nitro Reese, in order to find candidates for our projects and to give back to the communities. And in at Harlem River so far, we've hired 22 individuals that have been Section 3 residents. The majority of these hires have been Harlem River residents, and across various trades, including roofing and electrical and masonry. And we also conducted a training back in 2022, which yielded in 14 residents receiving their OSHA certifications. We will have additional trainings in 2024, so look out for that when that is planned. And just a few reminders about the project. This is a prevailing wage project. The majority of our positions are entry level, and we have a mix of full-time and temp positions here. And a great plus is that you'll be able to walk to work if you live in the Harlem River development. Next slide, please. Wonderful. So we are hiring just a few positions for painting and HVAC. If you're interested in applying for any of these positions, just please be reminded that you will need an OSHA 40 certification. You will need proof of work authorization, a valid driver's license, and the most important thing I feel is that you need to be a NYCHA resident on the lease. If you need assistance with updating your resume or sprucing it up, the NYCHA Reese department is an amazing resource. And you can also reach out to our social services department here at Harlem River. And once you're ready to apply, you can definitely drop off your resume at the management office at 231st West 151st Street, or you can email it to our email that's on the screen right now. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Again, Judy from L&M, and thanks everyone.
Thanks so much, Judy. Next slide, please, Grace. So that brings us to our Q&A session. Before we open it up for questions, I just wanted to introduce a few others from our development team that I neglected to introduce at the top of the meeting. So as you know, this is a large team of people that make this project come together. Settlement Housing Fund and West Harlem Group Assistance are two nonprofit organizations that are the developers for the project. So I work at Settlement Housing Fund, and I'd like to just take a minute to introduce Alexa Sewell, who's the president of Settlement Housing Fund, and then also Donald Notice, who's the president of West Harlem Group Assistance. Again, two nonprofit organizations that are the lead developers for this project. So Alexa, if you're on, I just want to give a quick hello. Okay, I don't hear Alexa, but Donald, if you're on and you want to introduce yourself briefly.
Yes, hi everybody. Good evening. I'm happy to be here. I'll say some remarks at the end of the presentation. I just wanted to add to the employment opportunities. West Harlem is working with employment outside of Section 3, and we're getting ready to roll out a youth build award that we just got. So and Harlem River is going to be one of our participant members. So we will get that information to you, and we're actually doing some training around plumbing and carpentry, and we'll get that information to you also. So, but I will have further remarks at the end of the section.
Great, thank you so much, Donald. And I'm just going to try to unmute Alexa. Alexa, let me know if that works. I think Alexa might be having some issues. All right, well, maybe.
Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, great. I don't know what I did. Sorry, I'm not going to inspire a lot of confidence in our residents at Harlem River. Sorry about that, but it's nice to be here. Thanks for the introduction, Elliot.
Yeah, no problem. Everyone has technical difficulties. It's okay. 4 years into the pandemic, we're still figuring out Zoom, myself included. All right, so we're gonna get into the Q&A. So I just want to explain how you can ask a question. So there's a couple ways you can type it into the Q&A box. If you move your mouse cursor or tap the screen, if you're on the phone, it should reveal a toolbar at the bottom. You should see a box that says Q&A. You can type your question into that box, and we'll reply to them one by one. If you would like to speak your question, please raise your hand. And to do that, you can again tap your screen or move your cursor to reveal the Zoom toolbar. You will then click participants, and then from there you can click raise hand. So once you raise your hand, I'll be able to see it, and then I can call on you. You'll be able to unmute yourself and ask your question. So I see so far we've got a few messages in the chat which we'll respond to, and I see a number that ends in 2556 with the hand raised. So I'm gonna allow you to unmute. You should be able to unmute now 2556 if you would like to answer your question, ask your question. Okay, I see another hand raised. Pakoya Jenkins, you should be able to unmute and ask your question.
I'm calling to find out about the park. You guys have renovated the parks in the back area. Will the same thing happen over here at 2850?
Yes,
Do
by
you hear?
parks, I assume you mean, yes, we can hear you. You mean the playground?
Yes.
Yes, so there's actually 4 new playgrounds that are going to be installed at Harlem River. There's the one you mentioned that's already pretty much complete, on the other behind the buildings on Adam Clayton Powell Boulevard. Then there are 2 new playground areas that are gonna go in the central courtyard. And then at 2850, that's the 4th new playground that will go in the same area where the existing playground is, but of course, all new equipment, a new safety service, and really exciting, that playground is going to have water features. So there will be some interactive like water features for kids. So yes, there will be a new playground at 2850. That should be installed before summer next year.
Oh, okay. I have one more question. We don't receive any type of notice of anything going on with the seniors over here at 2850. And from the pictures, you'll have events going on, but we don't receive any notification of anything going on for the seniors over here at 2850.
I'm sorry to
So
hear
is
that.
it
Yeah,
possible for them to at least put the notices in the doors so the seniors over here can also participate?
definitely. That's a good point. I think typically so that's our social services team that organizes those events. What you saw in the pictures, bingo, other game nights. So right now, because that space is being renovated, those events have actually been put on pause for the last like month or so. But once that renovation is complete, we'll definitely start those events back up again. And typically, I believe, Sarah, if you want to share more, they put up the flyers in the lobbies, but that's a good point, especially for seniors if they're not getting out and about to see the flyers, that we should deliver them to everybody's door. So Sarah, I don't know if you want to say more about that, but that's a great point, Ms. Jenkins, and we can make sure to do that.
Elliot, we usually put the flyers in the lobby of 2850 and at the property management office.
Okay. You put it in the lobby. A lot of people don't read what's up in the lobby. That's why I'm asking why you can't print extra copies and put it in each door.
That's a
Because a lot of times what you put up there is taken down by people coming into the building.
That's a good suggestion indeed, and we might start doing that moving forward.
Okay, because my mom's 86 and she wants to get out. And from looking at the pictures, they've had events, but we don't know anything about them. So that's why I was suggesting possibly putting them in the door in each apartment door. That way they would be able to participate and they would know about it, because putting it up in the lobby is the worst place to put it.
You're
That's just
absolutely
putting one piece of paper up, and a lot of the people don't pay attention unless they see it in their door. Then they will actually know.
Thank you. No, that's a really fantastic
find one at your door.
suggestion.
Thank you, dear. Thank the both of you.
Thank you so much.
And Elliot, I want to add this, since we're on seniors, West Harlem is going to give in hot meal for the seniors, and social services is going to send flyers out for everybody, but we'll make sure it goes under everybody's door, and we just need the numbers, and we'll deliver those hot meals on Thanksgiving Day for any senior that doesn't want to cook.
Very good.
Great. Thank you, Donald. All right, Ms. Jenkins, I'll put you on mute unless you have any other questions.
No, that was basically it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, I actually don't see anyone else with the raised hand except same number as before, ending in 2556. You can unmute now if you want. Okay, looks like you lowered your hand. So anyone else with a question? I know we covered a lot of information in the slides. We're happy to go over it in more detail or clarify anything. If anybody has a question, again, feel free to raise your hand. To do that, go to the Zoom toolbar, click participants, and then raise hand. I do
Can you
see
hear
one.
me now? Can you hear me
Yes.
now?
Yes, we can hear
Okay,
you.
I was the person that had the question before. You know, I almost had to call the cops because I was in a situation here where this guy pretended to be security, okay, and he's trying to get in somebody's apartment. So I'm saying this to all the older ladies over 50. Be very careful because you got a lot of people pretending to be somebody that they're not. Now, first of all, we don't even have security in this building. Our building has been renovated already, okay? So that's how I knew that was a red flag. I knew the man was lying. And then when I ran to the door and said, leave my door before I call the cops, he ran out the building. He kept shaking my door. That's why I couldn't answer before, and I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry that happened. Nasa or Adam, do you want to just respond from a security perspective?
Yes, from a security perspective, as you guys know, this is that time of year. You know, we're coming to the holidays. People are looking to do a lot of bad things. There's a lot of bad actors out there still that are roaming the streets. You know that the court system had been very lenient over this year. You know, they've been doing catch and release with people that are doing bad things. And you know, it's time you guys got to start ordering packages and start getting ready for the holidays. Like how she mentioned, be very careful who's coming to your door. Even UPS guys, delivery guys, are coming in with fake uniforms. You know, ask to see their ID through your peephole before you open the door. Make sure that you actually did order something. Don't say it's from the girl. They'll tell you anything. They'll say it's from Bob across the street, anything like that. Just be conscious and be aware. Just really double check. If you order anything, do not take it. Like I said, keep your eyes open. If you don't know the person, don't let them in the building. Don't let people piggyback in the building behind you. That's another way people get in the building. They say, "Oh,
yeah," and that's exactly what happened. He was trying to come in behind me, pretending to be security. I said, "No, wait, hold up, sir. Let me go in first. I live here." A few minutes later, he started shaking my door. But I have a very important question to ask. This 3-day thing with the heating and cooling system, right? Now, what happens when people go to school or go to work? How will you arrange that for them if they can't be home for those 3 days?
That's a really great question. I'm glad you asked. So, and you're talking about when they, if they need to do the installation for the 3 days to do the installation?
Correct. And then on top of that, it says it could be an extra 1 or 2 days. So altogether, it could be 5 days.
Right. And I want to clarify one thing. That will not be the case for every building. For some buildings, it will be installed and activated during the renovation period. So in fact, for any building starting later this month that is being renovated, it will all happen at the same time during that 6-week period while you're temporarily relocated. We were not able to do that previously because of equipment that was we were waiting to come in. But going forward, if your apartment has not been renovated yet, going
No,
forward,
my apartment was renovated and there was no installation,
right?
no heating
Okay.
system.
So for apartments that were already renovated and did not have that installation that happened during the renovation, so you're right, it will take about 3 days. If you, of course, you're not home during the day, you need to work or be in school or whatever that may be, you can provide access by giving keys to security. They will security will be present while the construction workers are working in your apartment. They can even um, have a video recording going while they're in your apartment to just to make sure that, you know, even if you're not home, that you know, you can know what's going on. So we can definitely arrange that to have them do the work while you're not there. As John mentioned during the presentation, it's also possible we can try to work with your schedule, maybe do it on the weekend, do it in the evening. Um, you know, the important thing is just communication. So we don't.
I would be available like after 5 on Friday and Saturday morning if they could come on Saturday. Now, do they work on Sunday?
John, is Sunday possible?
We do not work on Sunday. No.
We don't work on
Okay.
Sundays. Okay.
But how late do you work on Fridays?
We could make arrangements to accommodate your schedule, ma'am, either on a late Friday evening, all day on a Saturday. We'll work it out with you.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Thank
very
you.
welcome.
And my last question is, when are they going to activate those security cameras? They really need them bad, you know.
I believe, John, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're finishing up the installation now, and they should all be live by the end of this year.
Yeah,
Okay,
currently,
great.
ma'am, just the interior cameras in buildings 1 to 5 are all active and live. Building 6, they're installing the cameras as we speak, and building 7.
Wait, hold on a second. You said building 1 through 5, they're active?
Yes.
Well, what building would I be in? Am I in building 1? I'm not sure.
What building are you? What's your
I'm in building 52. What does that fall under? Which number? 1, 2, 3?
You're in building 5, ma'am.
I'm in 5.
Yeah,
So the cameras.
So the cameras are
are
currently recording. Yes.
great. Well, then I better call management and report this. Then that it's people shaking on my door all the time, trying to get in my apartment.
Yes, definitely call management and report that. But it sounds like the cameras are live in your building, so there should be footage of that.
You know, I just got, you know, I couldn't shake it around my head that he gonna stand there and lie to me talking about he's working for a security company. And I said, well, which security company? He said, Safe Security. I looked it up. There's no Safe Security. There's no such name.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you you know had your wits about you and were paying attention. Like Adam said, you know, it's just a good reminder to everyone to be alert and aware. I think you definitely did the right thing. If you don't mind, I'm gonna move on to somebody else with a question. Thank you so much for your important questions. Really appreciate it. We have one of the Spanish interpreters has a question from a Spanish speaker. You can should be able to unmute yourself and ask the question.
Thank you. This question is for a resident, Lori Lopez, and she wants to know if she can ask for a transfer. She's currently in a 1-bedroom apartment, and she wants to know if she should wait to ask for the transfer for her to, if she should request a transfer now while living in this apartment in 1 bedroom, or if she should request the transfer once she gets the Section 8. So she would like a transfer for another apartment. And
And
she
the
would like the transfer within that building, the
Um,
same building.
And it be due to the transfer is because of needing like a lower floor or a different size unit, or and if you
Yes,
could just
I
it
will
sounds like
ask.
kind of an individual question. So if you could collect some more details, specifically if you can get the name and apartment number, we can follow up with them after the meeting.
Okay, I have her on the line right now.
Okay, I think I want to just, because it's a very like individual question, I want to focus on questions that are more broadly applying to everyone. But please definitely collect the information and share it with us so that we can follow up after the call.
Yes, we will do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, I'm just gonna check to see who else has their hand raised. Okay, Chandra Green, you can unmute and ask your question.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Can you, okay, you can hear me.
Yes.
My question is, I'm currently in the temp unit. My unit is being renovated. So, I joined the meeting late, but I did hear you say that the heating system would be put into units that are being renovated at the end of the month. So I'm supposed to return to my permanent unit, sometime after Thanksgiving. So will my unit have the, heating system?
Good question. What is your building?
220?
220. John, can you answer that?
Yes.
Yes, my unit will have the heating system when I return the end of the month.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, will I have the new windows installed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so I think to be safe, I said later this month, but actually because John's been able to work some magic, it seems like even buildings that are currently being renovated are going to have all of that installed during the temporary location period, which is super exciting. Let me just see anyone else that's has their hand raised. Okay, I don't see anyone else with their hand raised, but we do still have about 10 more minutes. So again, feel free to raise your hand if you'd like to ask a question. I see Sean S. You can unmute yourself.
Hi, I have a couple of questions. Who do I go to? Because the paint, they paint it, but the walls are already chipping and peeling in my apartment. Also,
John,
too, when will the HVAC system be fully operational?
What building are you in?
52.
Okay, so there's been a couple issues with the paint peeling that John can explain why that happened. We definitely are going back and will go back to any apartment that has an issue with paint or any other issue that needs to be addressed as part of the renovation. But John, can you just speak to that a little bit more, and then also when 52 can expect the heating and cooling installation?
As a matter of fact, ma'am, you should be receiving notification tomorrow about a schedule to initialize the system and commission the system at 52 McCombs.
Okay.
So that's imminent. As far as the paint goes, it could be a number of different things. I'd be happy to come, please. If you could put in a work order and I could come up, I'll have the contractor come right up, assess the situation and make whatever necessary repairs.
Okay,
And we could do that when we are commissioning the system, so you don't have to be there twice.
Okay, and when are they going to finish replacing the windows?
That's an ongoing process, so that I don't have that answer for you, but you're in 52 McCombs, which is building 5, so probably late, early next year.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. Great. Any other questions? Gabrielle, I will allow you to unmute and ask your question.
Yeah, hi, how are you? This is Jerome, actually. I'm a resident at the Harlem River Housing. And you guys, first, I want to commend you and John for the reconstruction and renovation. My question is that during the preliminary early stages of construction, I'm experiencing rats having a championship hockey game in the ceilings. And I don't understand why in this great project that you all have engaged in, I'm experiencing this venture with these rats in the hallway, in the ceilings. So can John or someone tell me what's going on? Because prior to construction, I haven't experienced these rats. It's alarming.
Can you share what building you're in?
211H.
211H.
Harlem River House, 11H.
And are you currently hearing
Oh yes, it's a nightly thing. It's a nightly thing. They come out at a certain hour, and I hear them running back and forth in the ceilings. And they came to investigate, and they told me that, well, what they did something, and they made more space in the ceilings, but I don't understand why they're up in the walls like that. At night, they're just so vigorous, it's unbearable. It's actually scary when I'm laying down at night. So is that a management, Jerome and all these guys, they need to come in and check that out?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, what apartment are you in, if you don't mind me asking?
No, you need to know. 211H, apartment 2C. The guys in the management office, Jerome and all of them, they are wonderful guys, man. They're wonderful. I just saw the guys, the new management and all that. But I just need to know what's going on because it's a nightly thing. 211H, apartment 2C.
Yeah, we're gonna come into your unit. Are you there tomorrow?
Yeah, I will be there before 12 o'clock.
Okay.
I wouldn't be there. I'll try to make it happen, but it's urgent, as you know. It's urgent.
Yeah, no, that's very urgent, and I appreciate you bringing that to us because we weren't hearing anything else about the rodents running through like that, rampant like that.
Yeah. The management, all of the guys in there, Will and all of them know. Will, Jerome, we got 3 Jeromes. I'm Jerome 1, Jerome 2, Jerome 3, and then I just see another Tyrone. So there's a lot of Jerome in the complex.
Oh, now I know who I'm talking to. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How you doing, Jerome?
How you doing, brother?
Yeah, no, we're gonna jump on this tomorrow. So we want to come into your unit. We want to do a search and seal, try to get an idea where in the ceiling this is happening because yes, for sure. So we'll be there before 12 tomorrow for sure.
And I am pleased with the construction. You guys are just as awesome as you can be. I am pleased. I don't know about nobody else, but I can just speak for myself.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much, Jerome. That's really, really great to hear that you're pleased with the construction. I am, though, very sorry about the rats in the ceiling. And you're right that the construction work does disturb as we're digging up. It disturbs existing burrows and is causing rats to, be running in places where, previously you didn't see them. But we are very aggressively treating any rodent issues. We have exterminators at the site multiple times a week. So like other Jerome said, he'll definitely follow up with you and get the extermination scheduled.
Thank you.
And we'll get a hold of it.
Appreciate
Thank you.
it so much. Thank you. Thank you, brothers. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome, sir.
All right, we have about 5 minutes left. anyone else to ask questions. I also see some questions that are typed in the Q&A chat. We'll try to make sure we get to all of those. If you have a question that you don't feel comfortable asking publicly, definitely take advantage of what Jerome and Tyrone had offered. Come down to the management office, schedule a one-on-one appointment. You can talk with them about any personal or individual issue that you might have. As well as you can email management. You can also email just our general email address, which is info@harlemriver.org. Any feedback you have about the town hall, about what's going on at the development, just an email and we'll make sure to answer it. Let me just check again to see if we have any other questions on the line. I see a question from the, is there another question from the Spanish interpreter?
No, I just wanted to make you aware that my partner put the information of Miss Lori Lopez in the chat box or in the question and answer because she wants to be contacted about the transfer.
Great. Okay, yeah, I see the information.
Okay.
The interpreter can let Ms. Lopez know that we will follow up with her individually.
Okay. Yes, we will. I just wanted to be sure that you noticed it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I see a question in the Q&A about are we allowed to transfer out of the development or state with the Section 8 that is linked to our units? Short answer is yes, and maybe Yandra, if you are on, if you could maybe just take a minute to explain that process of how people can use their portable Section 8 vouchers. Deandra, if you are on, you can unmute or from Nisa, or are you able to unmute?
Yeah, sorry about that, Elliot. Could you just repeat that question just one more time, please?
Yeah, no problem. So it was, are we allowed to transfer out of the development or state with the Section 8 that is linked to our unit? So just more information about how people can request and use their portable vouchers.
Right, so the initial request can be you want to inform the management team office, right, of your intent to apply for a portable voucher. And then you would go to the self-service portal, which is an online portal for our Section 8 department, to apply directly for a portable Section 8 voucher. That's the process. Once you have submitted your request, they will confirm whether you are eligible for a portable voucher because there are income requirements. And once you are approved, you will receive notification. And then at that point in time, with that letter of approval, you can go out into the real estate market and find an alternate unit to house your family.
Great. Thank you so much, Deandra. And I'm also gonna I typed that and put it in the chat just in case Chandra, if you didn't hear the answer, I'll also reply in the chat. All right, I don't see anyone else with the raised hand. I'll just try to answer live a few other questions that came through in the chat. What number is building 181? I know it's a little confusing. We use building numbers. That's just kind of shorthand for us, but
Building 7.
Building 7. Great, thanks, Ellie. And I see a comment from Sean, the apartment renovation is beautiful, very different vibe to the place. That's great to hear. Thank you, Sean. Just gonna quickly check to see if there's any final questions before we close out. I see a question, when is 2651 and 2653 scheduled to be renovated? John or Ellie, if you know that off the top of your head.
Yeah, I answered that in the chat.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, well, we're at 7:30, so I think this is a good time to wrap up. It seems like we were able to answer pretty much all of the questions that came up. So I'm going to turn it over to Donald to close us out. But before that, I just want to say thank you so much for everyone, to everyone who attended. We really appreciate your cooperation and your patience with us as we undertake this really massive renovation project. And we're super excited about the changes that have already happened and that are to come. I agree with what Sean said. The property is just looking exceptionally beautiful every time I come out, which I try to do about once a week. You can really notice the changes just day by day. So thank you. And I'll turn it over to Donald to close us out.
Okay, thanks, Elliot, and good evening again, everybody. I want to thank the Harlem River family for coming out today to this meeting to open up communications a little bit better. I see there was 64 residents on the call, and that's great. Like Elliot mentioned, we're gonna have more of these meetings more frequently so we can open up this line of communication. And also, thanks to the Harlem team for the awesome presentation and all of the great questions that the residents had. As previously mentioned, this is a complicated project, lots of moving parts, and we must open up communications better. And I think we're on the way to do that. We need the cooperation or continued cooperation and patience of the residents. And that is beginning to happen a little bit better. And I'm pleased to hear some of the positive remarks on this project. West Harlem Group Assistance and Settlement Housing are committed to making this a seamless process moving forward. We have some stumbling blocks along the way, but as long as we open up communications, we will have a seamless process for the residents. Problems will happen, and we're committed to resolve the problems expeditiously. And you heard some of the detailed procedures that was put in place. We are happy too to see the progress of the development. At the end of the day, you will have the beautiful campus that this team promised you. And everybody have a good night, and thank you for joining our call. Yeah, I think you're Elliot.
Elliot, you're muted.
Sorry about that. I was just trying to answer another question that came through in the chat about it sounds like the renovation schedule for 2651 and 2653 wasn't answered, so I'm putting that in the chat right now. It's February and April of next year. Okay, again, if we didn't get to your question, the management office to ask, email us, call us. Again, we want to make sure that we can be as transparent and communicative as possible. Thank you all so much for attending tonight, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.